Okay, so joining you with the colors, and what happened was I had a little bit of a technical difficulty. I thought I was recording, and apparently I wasn't. I went to look down to pause my video and realized I hadn't recorded anything of the painting process yet. So I will go over that with you. You can see I've got some of it started, but what I will do is I will start kind of anew, and I'll walk you through what I've done, and we'll go from there. So what I did was I started here at the horizon line, and I started adding just a really light blue, the lightest blue you have. So a bit of blue, mostly white, and I'm just going along the horizon line here. And what had happened as I was painting was I was starting to get some of this pencil blending in with my paint, which is okay. I can cover it. It's just a little bit more work to keep adding color over top of that. So if that happens to you, don't worry, we can fix it. But that's a reason not to go very dark with the pencil, as you end up getting it mixing in with your paint a bit, especially the oils. With the acrylics, it'll dry. You can put a layer over it and it'll be fine. So I just took that white, really light blue, and just kind of took it all the way up a little bit over here above the house and here. And the reason I do the lightest color there is because the white takes your eye to the distance, almost like a very faded blue off in the distance. If you notice, you'll start noticing things as you paint more. You look at things differently, you look at landscapes differently. Whatever you're painting, you start seeing it differently as you paint. And if you look at a horizon, you'll see that it's almost a white color at the end. Unless it's a sunset, of course, it's different. But on a blue, sunny day, the farthest horizon is almost white. And what you can do from there is grab the next darker blue you have, a little bit of your medium, a little bit more blue, and start mixing that in. And you're just gonna start bringing some of that blue into your white and blend up and down, back and forth. Depending how blended you want it, you can kind of go in circles to get it really blended if you want it to just be a really seamless blend. If you like something a little bit more vivacious, I guess, I find that paint strokes can really affect the mood of a painting. You can do little dots like that. It gives it, you can kind of see more. I'm gonna add a little more blue just so you can see what I'm doing. That's probably too much, but with the oils you can really blend and fix that. You know, if you want something like that. Almost makes me think of Monet. All kinds of little brush marks in his paintings. And it gave quite a feeling of movement, so it really depends on what you want to do. Go ahead and play with your blues if you want to add different blues to that. That's perfect. Up here in my painting, it started to get really gray, and that was because of the pencil. And so now I had a chance to kind of go over that with my blue and blend it in, get rid of that pencil mark. As I go up, I add a bit more blue. I want it darker at the top. Again, different blues will give you a different looking sky. They're all okay. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's preference. If you want to stick to the photograph reference that I gave you from the beautiful photographer, I credited him in the comments of this video, and also in the email. If you got one, you got a sneak peek of the picture that we were going to do and the photo credit. So I just keep blending. I went ahead earlier in the video that I thought was recording and didn't record. And I took a little bit of my red, a very little bit, because red is a super strong pigment. You really don't need much. And I added it with some white, and I made a pink, a light pink. And I started adding a bit of that into this cloud here. And I'm gonna blend it up, so I like that. But you know, again, if you want to do more of a brush strokey cloud, that's kind of fun too. I'm gonna do like that. I'll blend. And just start blending up into the sky. And I'm probably going a little bit fast. I apologize. Again, I thought I was recording, and so it might be going a little fast for you. But the beauty of technology is we can pause it and go back. I'm going to try to have this up so you can go back and slow it down if you want to add some different things. I'm going too fast for you. So my cloud's a little bit gray. I'm going to have to go get more white out of my paint tube to add to that. So I'll go do that. You guys keep painting your sky, looking at your reference where you want, you know, darker, lighter, bluer, paler, maybe a bit of blue in here to make this cloud not look so rain-like. And I'll go get my more white paint and try not to move my video camera. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and type those in. You can ask what type of oil paints I like the best. I will let you know. If you're wondering what colors I'm using, if you missed that, go ahead, type that in. Anything that I'm not thinking of you want to know, go ahead, type that in, and I'll try to answer your questions the best I can. So I'm just looking at my reference painting that I did yesterday here and kind of going by that. And get some more of that. So this is kind of going on quite thick. You're going to be able to see these brush strokes. That's because I'm trying to cover this gray. Again, you can blend it more, have it softer. You can add brush strokes. The thicker the oil paint goes on though, the longer it's going to take to dry. And with oil paint, that could be days, which is why I add this liquid that helps it dry quicker, but still, it will take days. With acrylic, it's probably drying on you right now, and that might be annoying because you can't get this blended effect as easily unless you're using that medium that slows down the drying, and I love that. I think that medium is awesome. If I'm using acrylics, that's what I use, which is why I decided to paint in oils today, because I just can't get the effect that I want with my acrylics if they dry too fast on me. I'm just gonna take that cloud off the edge. It was looking too perfect, so add some white in here. A little bit of just adding white. Nothing too perfect. You can go back in and fix this after it dries and add a layer, all kind of things. I'm gonna pull some white down in here too. I'm gonna just have one cloud in the sky. I've got a few going on here. And I'm gonna add a little bit of that nice purple that I had mixed up in the beginning with my blue and my red. If you remember that from when we were mixing colors, I'm gonna put some of that in here. I like that color. A little bit of personality to our sky. Bring that up over here. And this is where I would take a little bit of that alizarin crimson. If you don't have it, that's okay, but if you do, it's a really kind of rich color there. You see that coming in? And I'll just blend it in. A little bit more of my medium to help it blend. Taking that purple. Go back into my blues. If you have a different blue, this is where you might want to add a different blue down in here. Get some really cool blues happening. I love the turquoise blues. Those are kind of my favorites. I would probably add that in. I'm gonna keep it simple for tonight. Yeah, I find that getting a little bit too dark. So what you can do is clean your brush. If you have a paper towel, if you're using acrylics, just give it a swish in the water and then dab it. You don't want too much water on that. And I'm just gonna start pulling some of that white up a little higher. It's getting a little too dark there. I want it to feel like a sunny day. We got lots of fresh air going on. Not so cloudy. Get rid of some of that pencil that was getting mixed into my clouds. Pull that up here. And that makes it look a little more airy. That's what I mean by you can't really go wrong. You just paint over it, let it dry, paint over it again. It's just paint, no big deal. You know, I have old paintings that I've done that I take a picture of them just so I can see how far I've progressed, and I'll prime it and I'll just paint over it again. So these canvases don't go to waste if you end up not liking it. If you do, great. If you don't, paint again. Take a picture though, because it's really amazing to go back and see how far you've come. I'm gonna take like a dab of white and just give this cloud a little bit of light. Like we're hitting some light there. Light's hitting those clouds. Whoa, that's too much paint. A little bit in here. If you see my reference photo that I put on, you're gonna see that my clouds are a little bit different. The colors are a little different. Every painting comes out different. Okay, so next we're going to start with the grass, the trees, and the house. Okay, so now we can start with, excuse me, with the mountains in the background. I always love when I'm looking at mountains and I'm always intrigued at how bluish purple they are. And so that's how we're going to paint our mountains in. We're just going to start with that. And again, the top of the mountain, similar to the sky, is going to be darker than the bottom of the mountain. That's quite blue. I think I want that to be a little more purple. So again, add a little bit of our red, very, very little, into that. And yeah, I think that's a better color. But that's okay. It kind of looks a little bit shadowy now. I don't have to, we don't want it too uniform. We don't mind getting different colors mixed in. In fact, as we go along, I'm going to talk about that, how a little trick that I've noticed, a little tip. The more color you kind of pull in from the surrounding things, the more real it's going to look. I'm just going to kind of pull that color down into there. We're going to cover up those tree trunks. If you're afraid to cover that over because you're not sure what you're going to do, go ahead and leave those showing, but I'm just going to cover them over. I'm going to go over here. The edge of the mountain goes right over. I'm going to cover that over there. Okay. And then you get a little bit of white and mix it into that. Almost like a light purple. And that's the base of our hill again. A little bit darker along the top, a little bit lighter at the bottom. Don't want too much of a difference, but a little bit. And I'm just going to try to cover up that pencil line again. Oops. A little bit too much white. I'll just blend it in. Pull it over.